Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be checking another box from the folks over at BBQbox.com. You can head over to www.bbqbox.com, subscribe, and then, I almost dropped it, and then every single month you can get a box that contains recipes, wood chips for smoking, sauces, rubs, and so much more. The next box has arrived. Another box has arrived from BBQ Box. We're going to get this opened up and see what we got inside. Going to need a knife for that. I got Hank to join us on this review. And where's the? Oh, it's on the. It's on the other. It's on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and cut the tape there. Open it up, and oh, there's tape on the top there too. Can you imagine how long I would have struggled trying to get that open up, only to find out that there's tape on the top as well. This is the April box, April 2017, category side dish. I love my side dishes. The recipe for Big Show baked beans. You know, it's so coincidental that I see this, and I guess by virtue of that, you see this as well. Because I had a craving recently, and I went to the grocery store yesterday. Let me just kind of break down the story that you're gonna get engulfed by. I went to the grocery store, I had a craving, and I thought to myself, you know what, this weekend I'm going to make myself some beans and weenies, or beans and wieners if you want to be more sounding like an adult. Beans and weenies. Cut up the hot dogs, cut them all up nicely, put them in with some baked beans, some molasses. Sometimes I cut up some bacon, I put that in there, some onion. It's delicious. Beans and wieners. I think I might actually just do that, and it's so coincidentally enough, then I open up the subscription box for April, and what do we have? The Big Show baked beans. It's probably not that big show, but it's the baked beans will not be overshadowed by the meat or ever the main. It's taken over. It is taken. Look at all the bacon all over that as well. It says what you need. You got some beans, some seasoning. Yeah, we got all that. Recipe tips. I guess theoretically, I could use this for my baked beans. I mean, I would imagine, as good as my baked beans will be, my beans and weenies, this probably is going to have a lot nicer flavoring and stuff like that than the brown sugar and just the mild seasonings that I add to mine. Don't sell myself short. My beans and wieners are epic. Epic. For starters, we're going to look at some Duke's Small Batch Smoked Meats Original Angus Beef Jerky. No MSG, no preservatives, classic style, sliced thin. It says for the love of jerky down below. Let's get this. Is there a little, oh, I guess there is, okay. I wasn't sure if I had to take the knife to it. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily sliced thin. I mean, it's about the same thickness as most beef jerkies. But nonetheless, we'll just break off a square. Break off a strip, I suppose. And there it is right there. Looks really nicely seasoned. You can see how basically the flavoring has infused the meat. It's gone right through there. We're just going to give it a try. Oh, that's really good. It doesn't have a profound flavor. Like, I can't really pinpoint it as it tastes very sweet, like a honey. Or it's got a lot of spiciness to it. It's got a very well-rounded flavoring to it. Ingredients. Angus beef soy sauce. I guess I taste the brown sugar. It's got apple juice in there as well. I would say, like, it doesn't have that stark sweetness to it. Like, immediately you get that punch of sweet, like a honey, or the brown sugar I taste, but it's not very strong. It doesn't really have a lot of heat to it. But it's pretty good though. Like, one thing this has that the other beef jerkies, when you pick them up at stores, and I know that's probably not the greatest of jerkies to be trying and comparing to, but when you pick up like a jerky, like a teriyaki jerky or whatever, you immediately taste seasoning, like the heat or the sweet. This is basically what I was getting at. The heat the seasoning, the sweetness, you get that right away. And then eventually you start getting a bit of the flavoring of the actual jerky itself. This is actually quite a different animal altogether, in that immediately I taste like a jerky that gets the enhancements of the flavor with it. It's not the flavors are dominating the flavoring of the meat and then you get the jerky afterwards. I'm getting the flavor of the jerky and I'm getting the flavor of the flavoring, which then by comparing it, is a little more subtle than some of the other jerkies too. So it really has a nice well-rounded flavor to it. That's really good, actually. And let's see what else we have in here. We've got some gourmet wood chips. And at the time that you are watching this video, no, I have not had a chance to try my smoking yet. Why don't you give that a shot? I feel like I have to get myself the proper setup. I feel like if I'm not going to do it right, I don't want to do it just yet until I have everything set up the way I want it to be set up. So I still have my wood chips from my other unboxings of the barbecue box, and I'm still going to make use of that. But again, I want to get my setup done right first. Inside, also, we have a John Boy and Billy's grilling seasoning baked bean mix. Now, if I'm looking at the recipe here, okay, so we got beans. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Pour can of beans into a Pyrex or glass cooking dish. Okay. Seasoning, add 2 tablespoons. I was going to say teaspoons. Tablespoons of John Boy and Billy baked bean mix. Add a 1/4 cup of John Boy and Billy grilling sauce, which I guess is in there as well. Combine all ingredients by mixing well with a spoon. You can add the bacon, strips of bacon to your beans. Bake them for 350 degrees, uncovered for 45 minutes to an hour or until desired doneness. And then you can eat them. It seems pretty straightforward. At least I can do the last part. I'm pretty sure the other steps will probably be fairly easy. Now that being said, this is not going to be as good, you know, I have a spoon. I brought a spoon for preparation of this unboxing. I'm going to try it on the spoon, but I know it's not going to compare. Let's see. Adding it to baked beans or adding it to a spoon. You can imagine one will be a little bit more tastier, I suppose, by comparison. But I'm just gonna give a little try of this. And what are the ingredients? We've got brown and cane sugar, dehydrated onion and garlic, dehydrated bell peppers, salt, spices, and soybean oil and all that other stuff as well. Let's give this a try. Granted, I know it's in a spoon, just bear with me, but let's give this a try, the baked bean mix. Here we go. I immediately taste sweetness. I taste a little bit of garlic. It's also gluten-free. Yeah, that's subtle. Subtlety. I almost feel like this box should just be the month of subtlety, as the jerky was a fairly subtle flavor, as the same could be said for the baked bean mix. Sweet. I taste that brown sugar. I taste the garlic powder. This would be something that wouldn't necessarily dominate anything. If you put this just on the baked beans, it would be enhancing existing flavors. So it would round up, I think, the flavoring and the sweetness of the baked beans by enhancing it. This would be an enhancer. It would be enhancing the flavoring of the baked beans with the brown sugar. It would also be enhancing the beans with the flavoring of the garlic. But a really nice concoction. Again, more enhancing than dominating. I guess dominating would be like this gesture. And I'm going to give that a try on my baked beans when I probably do it today or tomorrow. I've marked it on the calendar like that's a big event for me. And then lastly, if I can get this out of the box, we've got John Boy and Billy's grilling sauce. Great for ribs, chops, chicken, burgers, seafood, pizza, and more. And also, according to the recipe, good for baked beans. And up at the top, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of grilling sauce. Now again, I don't have, it would be so funny if I just moved the camera over and then surprisingly there's this big rack of ribs. I don't have that at the moment. What I do have, though, is still the ever reliable spoon. So I'm just going to put a little bit on this. I'm just going to shake it just enough to get all the seasoning kind of mixed amongst themselves. And I am going to, I guess I could have probably taken this off first. This is such a small thing. I'm going to use my knife. This is such a small thing, but I wish that companies, it's not really necessarily a fault, but I would just say as a little side note, I wish that companies would, when you put the foil on top of your bottles, put it like a little tab. You can see how much I would have struggled just trying to get that off. And no nails. That little tab would have gone a long way. Now, to think this might be a sweet sauce, I'm going to be a little bit more generous with it. If it was an excessively hot sauce, I probably would pull it back a little bit on the amount there. But it is sweet and mild, so that's good. Mild on the heat, jacked up on the sweetness. Let's give it a go. The John Boy and Billy's Grillin' Sauce. Here we go. Mmm. Oh, that's good. I'm just going to look at the ingredients here for a second. I want to make sure I'm tighten the bottle so it don't spill anywhere. Okay, so we got ketchup. Ketchup, which has its own ingredients. So like high fructose corn syrup, distilled vinegar, corn syrup, onion powder, natural flavors. Then you got brown sugar, cider flavored vinegar, water, distilled vinegar, sugar, Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire powder, I should say. We've got some natural spice extracts, minced onion. There's actually, I think you can even see it on the inside of the bottle. There's all these little specks, these little chunks of onion. As soon as I ate that, I start having that little bit of heat on the end. Very, very, very small amount of heat. But what I do taste when I was eating that was like these little invited friends of the onions. Like these little onions were just hanging out at the party. And it adds just a little extra oomph to it. That was really good though. Big Show Foods Inc. Well, there's a website, www.bigshowfoods.com. That's a decent sauce. That would be perfect. I don't know if I would put that on ribs. Like, I feel like it doesn't have, not that it would, maybe it wouldn't dominate the ribs as much, but I would definitely put that on like on a chicken wing, or I would put that just on chicken. Pork chops would be nice too. Oh, burgers. You could put that on a burger. That would be really nice. Like, the reason why I say that is it's a little thinner of a sauce. I don't know if I'd like to put a nice thick, slodgy sort of sauce on my ribs. This sauce I would definitely cater more towards a chicken breast or, you know, like a burger or something like that. Really good sauce though. So let's have a look at all the things that we got inside the April box from BBQ Box. We got ourselves a sauce, some baked bean mix. It's like, how did they know? How did they know I was going to make beans and wieners? They might even say, dude, you're going to use these for beans and wieners? That's sort of insulting, but I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it in the oven. I was just going to do it in a saucepan, but I'm going to follow these instructions here, and I'm doing it just exactly the way that they did it. I'm just going to cut up some hot dog in there as well. But needless to say, we got the baked bean mix, we got the grillin' sauce, we got Duke's Original Angus Beef Jerky, which was really good. And some more wood chips I can add to my groupings of wood chips for eventually when I get my setup going. When my setup gets going, dang nabbit, there's going to be some smoking going on. Smoking meat, that is, as we smoked using the wood chips from the BBQ Box. Cue segue, if you want to subscribe and get the BBQ Box delivered to your house, which would include jerkies, sauces, rubs, and wood chips if you are somebody that actually does smoke meat, www.bbqbox.com. That's the place that you can go to. That's where you can subscribe and get one of these beauties delivered right to your house. Speaking of subscribing, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Baked beans with some hot dogs cut up in there as well. I have to put some hot dogs in there as well. But what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button down below. You're good to go, and you'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos hitting this channel. As always, thanks for watching, as you always do, guys. See you next time.